Hi everyone, I'm No BSBS and I'm officially 2 weeks post-op. So right now my stats are I'm 32 years old. Yes, I did have a birthday between this video and the last one. I currently weigh 185.5 pounds. I'm 5'4", and I started out at 204, and the day of my surgery I was 198.9 pounds. I've lost 2 pounds since last week. I was in a stall for a little bit because I added food to my diet, which previously was not eating soft foods or anything like that. So if I actually would have taken this video yesterday, I would have been up 0.5 pounds. So today is really the first day that I've broken my stall. And I'm expecting to lose probably about 2.5 pounds next week. But after that, I'm going to add in solid foods. So, sorry, that was my AC cutting on. So I'm expecting to stall again after next week, but I'll deal with that when I get there. So today I'm going to talk about the changes that you go through the second week after surgery. One of the first most notable ones is that the lung pain goes away, which is completely awesome because for about the first week and a half, every morning I woke up, my chest felt heavy, breathing deeply was heavy, but now at 2 weeks post-op, I don't have that issue anymore. My lung capacity is back to where it was prior to the surgery, and it just feels great not to have that heavy, horrible feeling in your chest. The second thing is incision pain. Incision pain goes away. At least it did for me. The only incision that I still have any pain in whatsoever is the big incision, and I have to do something pretty... I have to twist pretty far or like do a lat pull down or something for it to hurt. So there's almost no pain anymore from the surgery, which is really good too because I'm starting to feel normal again, which everybody likes to feel normal. Another thing that changes is, of course, depending on your surgeon, some surgeons might keep you on a 2-week liquid diet. I was able to progress to soft foods and mushies. So that's kind of a game changer as far as getting in your water, and then you also have to start worrying about your protein intake. Now, depending on your surgeon, they may want you to stop eating 15 minutes before you stop drinking water 15 minutes before you eat, and wait for 30 minutes after. My surgeon makes you stop drinking 15 minutes before you eat, and then you have to wait an hour after you eat before you can have water again. And that makes it extremely difficult to get all of your water in, I have found. When I was on the liquid diet, I was able to get 64 ounces of water in, no problem whatsoever. Since I've started on mushy foods, I've gotten 64 ounces of water in only once. Usually I only get in 32 ounces of water. It's 10 o'clock at night right now, and I think I've probably only gotten in maybe 24 ounces of water today, which is really bad. I need to get on top of this. As soon as I stop making this video, I need to drink a whole bunch of water. But I have found that it is nearly impossible to get 64 ounces of water in now that I'm actually eating. As far as protein intake goes, I didn't bring my amino complex to my desk, so I was going to pick it up and show you. If you're wondering what that is, watch my previous video about supplements. It's like this little round jar, and it says amino on it. And there's no way in hell I would get all my protein intake in without that. It's got about 25 grams of protein in it. It's 0 calories. It doesn't count towards your meals. And like I said, it has been a lifesaver as far as getting my protein in is concerned. I don't see how I would get it in any other way with the small amount of food that I'm taking in. So it's kind of expensive, but to meet your protein goals, it's totally worth picking up. So the next thing I want to talk about is how people treat you after surgery. This was something I kind of didn't expect, and this is related to eating with people. After your surgery, you will encounter 4 different types of people. The first type are people who are supportive of you. They understand the process. They understand that this is a lifestyle change, that you can't eat the way that you did before, and they don't, try to push food on you or anything like that. The second type of people are people who mean well, but they don't really understand the way the surgery works. they think that when you get the surgery, the only thing that changes is you eat smaller portion sizes. They don't understand that you have to start eating different, healthier things. So these are the people that are like, hey, you know, as soon as you can eat solids, let's go get a cheeseburger. Well, I'm not going to be able to have a cheeseburger for probably about a year. I'm not supposed to have cheeseburgers at all because I'm not supposed to have bread anymore, but I'm not a saint. I'm sure I'll have one someday. But, so these people mean well, but they just don't really get it, and sometimes explaining it to them is a little bit frustrating because they just almost forget instantly. They're just like, oh, well, okay, you can't have a cheeseburger, let's go get some pasta. I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. So the third type of person is the person who is not supportive of the surgery, and this is pretty straightforward. They're the person who tried to dissuade you before you got the surgery, and after you get the surgery, they're kind of like, okay, but, they still don't think it was a good idea. The fourth kind of person is the saboteur, and this can be somebody who is either supportive of you pre-op or not supportive of you, but this is a person who purposely, vindictively goes out of their way to try to make you uncomfortable around food is the best way that I can think of. I don't know how many people are actually going to encounter this particular type of person, but I hadn't psychologically prepared myself for it, and I was kind of dumbstruck when I did have a situation like this. And for me, the person who did it was actually one of my biggest supporters pre-op, so I was really, really surprised that she acted like this. When I met her for the first time after having my surgery, and she just didn't want to talk about it at all. And then she pretty much ordered a bunch of stuff that she knew that I would like to eat. And it wasn't stuff that she would have, I guess, usually gotten for herself. She was purposely doing it to antagonize me. And I say this because I have known this person very well. I've known her for years, and I know the way her mind works. And so I have pretty much decided that I'm not going to put myself in situations where I eat around her anymore, because it's the first time since I've had the surgery where I kind of fallen into a not pleasant mental place. I mean, I was upset because obviously I couldn't eat those things. Somebody's eating them right in front of me. And I was also upset because I knew that she was doing it vindictively. So that's not very pleasant to be around people like that. I'm not going to cut her out of my life or anything like that, but I am going to separate her, food and my spending time with her. But I feel like there was something else I was going to say on that note, but I previously made this video and I didn't realize I wasn't recording, so it's not going to be as polished as the first video was. Hopefully you don't have anybody like that in your life, but it's something to be aware that it can happen. So the last thing I want to talk about is, guess who was in the emergency room today? Yeah, I went to the emergency room because I thought I had a blood clot in my leg, and I will tell you the story so that anybody else who thinks they might have a blood clot might save themselves a huge emergency room bill. So my surgeon approved me to lift weights. I can lift anything that is under 20 pounds. So I wasn't even going to lift weights at all for the first 4 weeks because I wanted to wait until I was fully healed up. But I went to the gym yesterday and there was nobody there, and I felt like a kid in a candy store, and I got on all the equipment, and so I worked out pretty hard, and I really kind of turned things up on the treadmill too, so my whole exercise routine was pretty intense. And when I came back to my apartment, I took a nap, and when I woke up I felt like complete crap. So I decided to take the rest of the day off, and I just sat around and I watched TV and I played video games, and I didn't get up every 30 minutes like I was supposed to. I just sat there for hours and hours and hours, and by the time I was getting ready to go to bed, my legs hurt really bad, and I looked down and my legs looked super swollen. So I started freaking out, of course. I had throbbing in my right leg, so I called my surgeon, and he said to go to the emergency room. So I'm pacing around because the emergency room is really expensive when you have crappy insurance like I do. and I didn't really want to go, so I busted out a tape measure and I measured my legs, and they were the same size. So I was like, okay, well, it's all in my head. I'm just being a hypochondriac. So I just put compression socks on and I went to bed. When I woke up this morning and took the compression socks off, my right leg was still throbbing horribly badly. So I went ahead and went into the emergency room. The first thing they did was bust out a tape measure to measure my legs, so to see if they were swollen, and they weren't. And they did a sonogram on my the leg that was throbbing, and I didn't have a blood clot. I just had crazy muscle spasms, and I've worked out a lot, and I've never had muscle spasms in just one leg that have lasted almost 24 hours. So it was really bizarre, but my word of advice for you is, when in doubt, measure it out. Take a tape measure, measure your legs. If one of them is not swollen, there's about a 90% chance or 95% chance you don't have a blood clot. Because 9 times out of 10, if you have a blood clot, your leg is going to swell. So, like I said, it was just a really bizarre experience for me because it was just one leg and it was throbbing constantly. And so that kind of freaked me out, but it was just a muscle spasm. And he told me to put Bengay on it, and I came home, and I've been fine ever since. So that's been my week so far. I will make another video next Tuesday. So until then, everybody have a good day, a good night, a good week, a good weekend, whatever time it is that you're watching this, and I'll see you next week.